Welcome to Tifa Letters, the holiday edition by the Filipino American Women Project. I'm your host, Jen Amos. Just like last season, I will read fictionalized letters, my creative interpretation of real conversations with you. These conversations have been woven with heart, reflection, and truth to honor your stories while protecting your privacy. It all begins with one line. If I could say one thing, because sometimes one thing is all we need to take up a little more space. Let's get started. If I could say one thing to my gossiping self, it's this. My family loves you, but my job, not so much. At home, you are the life of family potlucks. You take center stage every time amongst my siblings, my cousins, my parents, and even relatives from halfway across the world. You are consumed so much faster than the food laid out in our kitchen table. Oh, my gossiping self. What would I do without you? What would my family talk about without you? Gossiping is the fuel that keeps the engine of my family running. It's our way of catching up, our form of entertainment. But most of all, gossip is our family's way of staying connected. Who needs social media when you have family? We were always informing each other about how our loved ones were doing. And me? Well, I was right there with my gossiping self. I watched, I listened, I learned, I participated. My gossiping self and I are one and the same. And overall, gossip is our family's love language. Hearing about our family members through other family members showed how much we cared about each other, looked out for each other, thought of each other. And so, when I landed my dream job, a career that I saw myself being in for decades to come, I instinctively and intentionally decided that my colleagues were going to be like a second family to me, an extension of my own family. So within the first couple of days of starting my dream job, I was eager and determined to bond with my colleagues, my second family. Day one, the first person I had the opportunity to bond with was my supervisor. I happened to walk into his office fairly early and caught him as he was wrapping up a phone call. He was just getting off the call with his boss, which, in my mind, I wanted to remember him as my boss. My supervisor hung up and let out a huge sigh. He shakes his head and says, "Gosh, he's so impatient. Our sales team is working so hard, and all he does is say, 'Oh, we need to increase our numbers. We need to do more sales. Tell us something we don't know.'" Now, I'm just sitting there speechless, realizing why I probably should have came in a little bit later. But here I am, catching the tail end of what it seemed to be a stressful conversation. My supervisor breaks the silence. "Hey, Gina, sorry about that. I just know that her team is working really hard, and our boss just has this tendency to just focus on the numbers, as though we're not focusing on the numbers. Of course we need to increase our numbers." I respond in compassion and say, "Hey, I know I'm new here, but it sounds like you're doing your best, and I hope to do my part as well." "All right." My supervisor claps his hands. "So what do we have you here for?" And already we cut to the chase and talk business. Day two, at my dream job. I had a chance to sit with my new colleagues in the break room. I joined them, introduced myself, and listened. They were talking about the pending lists of things they needed to work on and brainstorming ways to help each other make their jobs more efficient. I wanted to contribute to the conversation, of course. So I went in and said, hey, our supervisor, he was really frustrated with our boss the other day. In a split moment, my colleagues stopped whatever they were talking about and looked straight at me. Oh, tell us more. I lit up inside, recognizing an immediate connection, and I told them the conversation I had with my supervisor and what my supervisor had to say about our boss. And then before you know it, lunch break was done, and I was feeling pretty good about myself, meeting my colleagues for the first time and already creating a positive first impression. Day 3. I arrived to my desk and sit down with so much optimism when my supervisor's assistant came over. My eyes lit up and I smiled. I greeted her a warm hello and good morning, but with a very solemn, cold, unreadable face. She says, "The supervisor wants to see you in his office." My brows scrunch. Oh? And the assistant doesn't say anything else, just walks away. In that moment, I'm thinking, did I do something wrong? I slowly rise from my desk and I look around in the office and notice my colleagues avoiding eye contact with me, the ones that I just befriended the other day in the lunchroom. So I found that strange, but nonetheless, I slowly made my way to the supervisor's office. I step inside and say, "Good morning." My supervisor wasn't even looking at me. He was already standing up, looking out the window with his hands wrapped behind his back. And just like that, I felt a coldness in the room. He sternly spoke. "Gina, please sit down." That moment made me realize that we were about to have a serious conversation. So I sat down and I waited patiently. "Gina, I'm concerned that you're already spreading rumors in the workplace." My eyes widened, but my supervisor continued. "I know you're new here, but you're already making a bad first impression. You can't go around talking to people about the things that I discuss with our boss. You can't share information that doesn't directly apply to you, for that matter. That's completely unprofessional, and that conversation was confidential." Okay, y'all, you have to believe me when I say I was so confused. I was in shock. I didn't understand what was happening. But my supervisor let me go with a warning. "Don't do this again, Gina. Gossip is unprofessional in the workplace. In fact, it's considered work violence." Work violence? I stepped out of my supervisor's office, still in shock. Some of my colleagues glanced at me, but again, quickly looked back at their screens, acting like they were busy. So I just tried to keep a straight face until I made it to my desk. I just could not even process what I was just told. When I thought I was connecting, I didn't realize I was creating work violence of all things. If gossip wasn't allowed in the workplace, if gossip was considered unprofessional, and most of all, a form of work violence, how was I going to bond with my colleagues? How am I going to make this into a second family for decades to come? So I thought about it and I realized that I needed to discover a different way to bond in the workplace versus with my own family. So luckily, the days went on at work. I watched, I listened, I learned, I participated in the workplace. I started to recognize that the way to bond with my colleagues is not to talk about people that are not in the room, but more so talking about the people who are in front of you. If I wanted to know about someone, I had to talk to them directly. If I needed something from someone, I had to ask them directly. It was unnatural for me to do anything other than learning about people and asking about people indirectly. But I was determined to make a better second impression. My colleagues started to communicate and respond to me better, and things started to turn around for me when I went straight to the source. Anything I wanted to know, anything I needed, I would go directly to the person who could provide that to me. But what really mattered as time went on were my actions. Then one day, the whole company received an email from my boss, and the email went as such. Team, we did great this month, and I want to give a special shout out to Gina for her amazing contributions. Gina, great job. At work, I learned 3 things. 1, gossip is not allowed in the workplace. 2, direct communication is the way to gain respect. And lastly, 3, my actions speak louder than my words. So now, after that amazing praise that I was not expecting, I am more intentional about paying closer attention to the conversations that really matter at work. I make sure to ask more questions about the task at hand, and I ask it to the right people. I look for the conversations that move things forward. I can even say that I've become quite the active listener. And when I speak, it counts. How lucky am I to be given a second chance at my dream job? So, to my dearest gossiping self, please understand that you can't come to work, but know that you're the first person I'll see outside of work hours and at family potlucks. My second family at my dream job, yeah, we connect differently, we communicate differently, and that's more than okay. There's a time and place for indirect communication like gossip and more direct communication in the workplace. And it got me to think how capable I am to care for my blood family differently than I care for my work family. So if I could say one thing, it's this. To my gossiping self, I love you as much as I love my blood family. And I'll see you when I'm back home. Love, Gina. If you could reflect on one thing, it's this. How do you communicate at home versus in the workplace? Want to respond? You can reply today at tfaletters.com. That's TFAW as in the Filipino American woman, letters as in plural.com, tfaletters.com. Or better yet, write your own letter. Submissions are now open. You can include your name or stay completely anonymous. So, if you could say one thing, what would it be? Subscribe for free today at tfaletters.com and follow the steps in the welcome email to submit your letter. I hope to read yours in the upcoming fall season. P.S. If I could say one more thing, it's this. If this letter spoke to you, you're invited to come as you are at our online family potluck event. Think of it as a professional networking event, but with Filipino family potluck vibes. This event is free to all of our listeners, thanks to our readers at tfaletters.com. And first-time attendees will receive a special gift. Reserve your seat now and get all the details of our event at tfaletters.com. Again, that's TFAW as in the Filipino American woman, letters as in plural.com, tfaletters.com. See you there. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.